Would any of you consider dating a guy where it's closed on your end, open on his?
No.
Absolutely not.
I would not. And
Donald Trump? What about for Donald Trump?
No, we would have to have a monogamous relationship.
What if he's making 10 million?
That's why I said I don't want him to have to get divorced. That's why I wouldn't put myself in the picture.
Okay.
I wouldn't
What about you?
do that ever.
Keep in mind, this could be like your ideal guy. He could be very high status, very attractive.
I'm gonna go from personal, like if the guy I was dating now wanted to do like the whole we break up but you stay there, I go out, I don't know. Like I can't.
Sure.
I don't know.
I wouldn't. Monogamy would be a core value for me. And just on the double standard, I would also offer up that there are women out there who have multiple male partners, and the male partners are monogamous to them. So, I don't think there's anything wrong with double standards as long as everyone agrees.
Okay.
No, I wouldn't want to do that.
Personally, would not be my ideal man if he would not be monogamous to me.
Alex?
Absolutely.
Donald Trump?
Absolutely not.
Huh?
She's scarred.
No, I just that's disgusting. And also, I would lose attraction for a guy if I wasn't like the only woman in his life. Like if I really liked him and he was my ideal 10 out of 10 guy or whatever, but if he was talking to other girls besides me and I knew I was an option, I would lose attraction for him.
One of the interesting things that I love about this is you asking them what they think they would do. And I always say women don't honestly know what they would do until they're actually in the situation, and their emotions, the emotionally charged variables that factor into that equation are actually present.
I think I know what I would do in this situation.
You can say what you would do on the outside looking in until you're actually in the situation. I don't think any of you have ever been in the situation.
You're acting like this is Sophie's choice. Like I would never be attracted to a guy who's talking to other girls.
No, I'm saying that because I'm also a relationship coach, and I see women all the time who say one thing and actually do another in reality. And that's most of the women that I deal with. Women love saying what they would or wouldn't do. As I say, you're on the outside looking in. You're not in love. You don't know how you feel. You're not overwhelmed with the feelings that you have for that guy. You don't know that. None of you do. You can't say that. You can say what you think you wouldn't do until you're actually in the situation, and there are circumstances to where you start to rationalize, you start to tell yourself, well, maybe I can change his mind, or maybe it's me, maybe it's something that I can do. There are all kind of things that women go through that they tell themselves emotionally when they're caught up, and that's how so many women end up caught up. That's how women end up talking about fuck boys. That's how they end up talking about, oh, this guy did me wrong, because a lot of the times those women are caught in situations because they're slaves to their emotions, and women are often slaves to their emotions. When you're not emotionally present in what I'm saying, then yeah, you could say, nah, I wouldn't do that. I absolutely wouldn't do that.
But if we're talking about, do you want to go first? Go ahead. If we're talking about non-monogamous relationships, 92% of non-monogamous relationships fail, and it's because one of the reasons is because it's not a mutual decision.
Well, you saying relationships? I'm not talking about relationships.
Well, that's what we were just talking about.
Yeah, you talking about like being in a committed relationship, dating a guy. I'm talking about if a guy is dating you and he's dating multiple women, but y'all aren't committed to one another.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm about to say, because it's never a mutual decision, and a lot of the women that are going into non-monogamous relationships that are initiated by the man just feel like they have to say yes because they're too scared to lose.
You know what else women say they wouldn't do? They say they wouldn't stay if they got cheated on.
So you're saying women are driven by their emotions a lot. So in that case, wouldn't you, as a relationship coach, try to coach women on understanding what their boundaries are and sticking with them?
Who said I didn't?
I didn't. I'm just asking.
You asked that question, and that question is already on the presupposition that I don't.
Okay, so then open question then.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do, because I want women to make decisions. I want them to draw boundaries, and at the end of the day, the goal is to give the woman a choice, so women don't feel like they don't have a choice. That's why you're open, honest, and transparent. That's why you say, hey, this is what the situation is. This is what's going on. This is what I want. You can do what you want, or you can tell me that you want to conform to what I'm doing, and you leave the decision up to her. Women feel, but the feelings of malice come from feeling betrayed, feeling lied to, feeling like they didn't have a choice. So what do? You eliminate those feelings. You eliminate the feeling of betrayal. You eliminate the feeling of they don't have a choice. You allow them to make their own decision, and that's when their emotions come in. That's why I said if a woman really likes you, a woman will stay through things that she thinks she wouldn't stay through. I can attest to that, and men who get women can attest to that, regardless of what women say, because women say the same things. I've dealt with women. I can keep this casual. Oh,
So
no, I really
think
like
where
you. I
it
want a
pushed back a little
relationship.
bit is where you're saying that a woman will sort of prove how much she cares about you if you can sort of if she proves to you that she's willing to do things that she wouldn't otherwise do. What that sounds like to me is sort of already having a little bit of soft boundaries. So the other way to approach that would be asking the woman, what are your boundaries, and coaching her on how to stick with that. And that would be the approach that I would take.
Overall, I think it's just different when you, like he said, like we're not in, if you're in love, it's completely different.
Thank you.
Like when you are really, really like in love with this person, it does not matter what they say, what they do, you're still just gonna love that person. And like the fact that we were talking about this like shows that like some of us are clearly not in love. I've been with.
That's why I respect your answer. You said no, and then you said I honestly don't know. You know why she doesn't know? Because she know how she feel about him right now, and she make that decision based on how she feels about him right now.
And I think it's perfectly fine to not know. You know, we don't all have the answers right here, right now, and things change over time. You know, maybe one day one person says they want to be monogamous. The next 6 months, after 6 months, things change, or they are in their headspace changes. They want to open up the relationship. A year passes, they want to be monogamous again. So it's a fluctuating thing. We don't always have to know in the moment. But I think there is a difference between saying a woman doesn't know because she's a slave to her emotion and how she feels might change. That's true. But you can also take the approach of saying, well, so think about what your priorities are, what you want, and how can we figure out how to navigate within those boundaries without violating your own boundaries
You know how
because
many
of your emotions.
and see, once again, this is why I'm speaking from a place of authority, because do you know how often I've tried that? I've preached that to women. Do you know how much women don't listen when they're in love? Do you know how many women come to me when they schedule a coaching session and they tell me what the issue is and the type of guy that they're dealing with, and I tell them about boundaries. I tell them leave. I tell them these things. They don't do it.
not.
They won't do it. It's simple. See, it's different. See, as I said, behaviorally, when you see it, their behaviors contradict what they say they would do. I would never, or I could do this. Then when they're in a situation, okay, this is your opportunity to do it. No, he told me this, he told me that. And you're also forgetting the factor that men say things to the women on the other end. So she's not going to listen to the outside world. If you could tell a woman, you need to leave him. Her friends tell her, you need to leave him. Everybody tells her, you need to leave him. What matters more to her is what he's telling her.
So what would you advise a female to do in that situation? Then
Thank
if she's
you.
stuck in a
Don't
situation
worry.
where she wants to leave but is having a hard time leaving.
There's nothing you can do outside of telling her what she needs to do. You can't force her to. She has to come to that realization on her own.
Could you
Because
say
the-
all these things about dudes, though?
What you mean?
Like everything that you've said about giving people, like, I feel like one of the issues with people taking on board what you're saying is you're allowing people to do things. And when you say that you allow it, it sort of means that you're demeaning someone. I know what you're saying, but I reckon that wording is probably not the best way to get your point across. I think with dudes, because dudes can be emotional wrecks too.
absolutely.
Dudes can be cheated on and stay with the woman. Dudes can do all of those types of
Been there,
things.
coached them too.
So, yeah, you're saying you can say those, but I think it's important to say that because
Yeah.
otherwise it looks like you're attacking women, which you're not doing.
Well, yeah, no.
But it's important to say that, otherwise,
yeah, but it's about where does it occur more.
Sure.
There's a disparity between how often men experience that and how often women experience that, and typically it's the woman experiencing it a lot more than the man is.
Okay.
Because men are more like, men will leave. If men get cheated on, they leave.
Is that a-
Women stay.
is that a
put up-
pride thing? Do you think? Like, does it just hit the pride, or is it more of a? It's built into your DNA that this person isn't the one to carry a child.
It's both. I say the pride stems from what's built into your DNA.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I also hate women.
Okay.
I think that's a very concise way to finish off what you're saying. That it is all built into our DNA. I think there's a book. Is it someone younger? Carl what's his
Carl
fucking-
Jung.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The book about sexual behaviour. A very interesting read, talking about why we do what we do, and
Everyone should read that.
how it sort of fits into current societal norms and cultural norms, and how we sort of trust certain people to carry our offspring and don't trust others. I think it really speaks quite loudly if you will listen to it.
Yeah, and if you realize a lot of domestic abuse comes from women who have committed an act of infidelity, or they perceive that the woman has committed an act of infidelity. That's that pride and jealousy that comes into play. So when a woman cheats, a man is much more likely to put his hands on her if he finds out, because it's that sexual jealousy. Like, sexual jealousy is, in a sense, more intense for men because men value sexuality more than women do. Like, emotional cheating is deeper for women and sexual cheating is deeper for men. So it's harder for a man to overcome sexual infidelity than it is for a woman to overcome sexual infidelity, and it's also more difficult for a woman to overcome emotional infidelity than it is for her to overcome sexual infidelity, because they place two different values on those things, two different weighted values. So emotional infidelity means more to women because, as I said, women are emotions is how men demonstrate, allocating resources, investing in resources. So if a man is cheating emotionally, then to that woman that means he's giving that woman other things that he normally gives her, which means he really likes her. Whereas a woman, if she's cheating, then that means she has the possibility of conceiving that man's child and him fathering a child that's not his. So we take that much more seriously because of that possibility, because of that paternity uncertainty.
Yeah, from an evolutionary biology standpoint, the worst thing a male can do is give his resources to an offspring that's not his. And the worst thing that a female can do is kind of lose the caregiver who can give the resources. So from a purely evolutionary biology standpoint, obviously society has evolved to be not just about that, but that still drives our actions.
Right.